even though a lot of them are already settled.
Well, Rashawn Baker is going to be our county executive.
Yeah, I mean, but we still have the District 23A race, and we had
Sure.
Margaret Moody in last week since she didn't come in the first round. So we could talk to her, and we have the County Council 4 race, which has got Fiona Moody versus Ingrid Turner.
Yeah.
And we're going to make our endorsement on that this week. So.
Oh, that's good.
That would be interesting.
Well, you're doing well there, and John, you're right to bring it up because that was what a lot of people ask about.
Oh, absolutely.
And they even encouraged, a lot of them encouraged us to have candidates on because they want to learn more about them.
Well, I was shocked, right, absolutely shocked that Ingrid Turner didn't have Democratic opposition.
Yeah, it was a bit surprised, but I mean,
she has not done a stellar job at all.
Well, I mean, I'm not, you know,
you can't say that.
I can't say that. She touts that, you know, two big things that she's accomplished, and that's the South Bowie Library and the new.
That came long before her.
It was in the works, but she did work on a compromise that was key to getting it done.
Yeah, particularly with the developers she talked to, and then people in the neighborhood there.
Yeah, I mean, there was a point where the developer was ready to walk away, and she stepped in and helped out. And then she also touts the new Greenbelt Middle School that is being built. And they just broke ground on it.
Yeah, it's too bad she avoids and screws up on the Bowie High School that we so desperately need.
Well, yeah, well, again, I can't make an opinion there, but there's varied views. I mean, I've talked to some delegates about that, and I specifically talked about it. The Bowie ones were all in favor, and the ones on the West County were not quite so much, and they say there's empty seats at Duval, and Bowie parents and even Lanham parents keep redistricting and forcing more kids into Bowie that should be going to Duval.
Well, these people don't know. They might tend to forget that this very, very large municipality contributes more tax revenue to this county than collectively most of them.
10%, yeah.
And that just, you know, come on. We pay our way. We have park and planning, from which whatever we get, I don't know. It absolutely eludes me, all that money. And, you know, there are things we need. And under Jack Johnson, you know, Bowie was virtually ignored. And I think that's going to stop. I don't think it'll happen under Rashawn Baker, because I know him personally. He's been on this show, and he's bright. That will be a nice change in the county executive office.
And he has a history of being a reformer, and somebody who's not afraid to take tough stands.
He was head of the delegation, the House delegation from the county. And
not just led it, but he was a leader of the delegation at that time. He got a lot done when he was in the state. That's pretty well a record. It's a different world as a county executive. So I'm not sure if we are always going to get candidates that have run something, hired someone, fired someone, paid someone, and will even go into politics. It's fewer and fewer of them, quite frankly.
I noticed,
but I really think you need more of that. So I know Doug Peters, quite frankly, he ran a business. He went to the University of Maryland, worked at a gas station, and he managed the gas station before he went in the military. There's certain things there when you find out what they have to offer that a lot of people just vote on personality and promise, in my opinion. And we need less promise, more doing, and still personality.
Well, yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that surprised me on election night was Alexis Curry, you know, days after being indicted for corruption, getting 10,000 votes. I don't care if he was the only candidate on the ballot.
Ridiculous.
I'm not sure that.
Fortunately, Nat Turner, or whatever his name is, Nate Turner, Nate Exum, is gone.
And Valeria.
Valeria.
Two good moves, in my opinion. You can't express that.
No.
But that's why we have views on our program, not just news.
Yeah, the views are over there.
Views are there.
News there.
News there.
And, you know, I'll tell you, there was a lot of people that I know that knows Ulysses Curry. Now, I've met him. He was quite supportive of the guy that owned Marlowe Furniture. I was up in Rockville. I met him in his office, and he was telling me about this Ulysses Curry. It's a good business. He likes business. He was actually a teacher. And I thought, well, I've got to meet this guy. And I did finally meet him, but I was so disappointed in that vote that occurred. I don't think people should be rewarded unless if they know something that the charges were different, that's their business, you know.
We've had nothing but problems with ethics in this county, and sometimes it doesn't even matter. People are now in public office, you know, who would use their personal county council credit card, a school board credit card to go to Disney World.
Yeah.
I mean, that person should not be in office.
It all has a lot to do with not only hiring right people, being sure they understand what is necessary, and integrity should be the basic ingredient. I worked with the county for a period of time as economic development director, and that department needed some changes. Yeah. And that's a long time ago, Ken, and yet it seemed like that it was a whole different regard.
Well, what are you guys doing about this sort of thing? Do you have an investigative staff? Do you?
Well, Daniel Valentine's very tough.
He seems to be.
He is very tough, and he doesn't mind asking the tough questions. And there's often times when he's doing so that we're all sitting around the room just kind of shaking our heads. He just did that this week with the, I forgot the candidate's name, South County, who was passing out the bad endorsement.
Oh,
flyers.
yeah.
So,
it wasn't authorized.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, he's very tough, and he's you know, perfect for a journalist. He's one of the biggest cynics you're ever going to find. And so he's always out there
kind of man.
Pushing people. And so we're very lucky to have him, too.
Let me ask you another question that has become a major problem for just about everybody in the news business here. Is the lack of available police data. They're not transparent. They hide it. I know that. They alter their standards for carjacking so it doesn't look like there are so many. Something's got to be done about that.
We're hoping. I mean, there is, and we've tried to work with them. And I talked to Una Cooper last week, and she's talking about possibly having some of the editors, now that they're getting a lot more demands from media, come in and kind of maybe help coach what we're looking for.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
That would be something that but yeah, it is a problem, and it's something we're trying to improve on because it delays us getting information out, slows down the process, and it makes more demands on them that we have to constantly call them when these are very busy people who have other
I remember
jobs.
In the old days, the prehistoric days, I went to the police station. There was the daily log with everything in it. And then you just took notes and went back and you could write the story.
Right.
But now, our chief of police in Bowie, bless her heart, she's a good chief, but I don't think she's very well attuned to public information needed by the media. And what does she have? She calls her unusual incident book.
Yeah.
Well, come on.
Yeah.
And I look at the TV, I mean the crime reports. Assault, 1800 block of Bel Air Drive. That's all you get.
Yeah, there's a case on there right now that we're trying to track down. But yeah, and the other problem is sometimes it's not so timely. I think John Neske's the one who posts those. And when he's out of town or doing something else,
they don't get posted. They
don't get posted, so there'll be like weeks-long gap before suddenly then we get these big items that happened a long time ago.
Those of us in the field, we're entitled to that information. It's public information.
Yeah, they need a public information officer. They're getting big enough to the point where they need it. You know, that's still going to be a city issue and whether they're going to budget that.
Well, the county police aren't much better.
They have their challenges, yes.
Indeed.
But they do have a staff of 3 or 4 people that we can call on a regular basis, Mike Rodriguez and Michelle Reedy and the rest, and we call them all the time. So they are there. Maybe they're not always as responsive as we'd like, but you know, at least they're available that we can ask questions. Where with Bowie, you know, if you call, we've even called during business hours and gotten the voicemail. So there's just, you know, times, and you don't even try calling after hours.
Well, we have about 5 minutes left. Doesn't time fly?
Yes.
I'd like your candid opinion, or as candid as you want to be. What do you think we're going to see in, say, 10 or 15 years in the field? Too much online stuff? A lot of online stuff? Are community newspapers going to come back with a little bit of force? What's your prediction?
It's such a scary time. I mean, for anybody who's been in journalism, as long as you and I, we've all been, we've seen a lot of really good people, a lot of really good, talented journalists lose their jobs.
Oh, I know it.
And that's been a sad thing to watch.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think that everybody's trying to figure out what's going to happen. Bowie Patch in AOL may have the answer, and they're thinking that. I don't know how long-term they're going to be able to pay for it. There's no advertising on that site right now.
Yeah.
And at some point, AOL is going to want to make some money.
Oh, of course they are.
But maybe they have the answer, and they're figuring that out. We still have a print product, even though we no longer consider ourselves a weekly newspaper. We are a daily news organization. We are posting stories on weekends. Editors and reporters are assigned
I noticed
weekends.
you update your website regularly.
Yeah, so you know, we've moved past being a weekly newspaper, and we're trying to figure it out too. But we are lucky that we still have a print product that still pays the majority of the bills, so we're still making money. But I worry about journalism because, you know, you read stories about the Washington Post, keeping track of which stories are getting the most clicks, and find out Lindsay Lohan is the top story.
Oh, I know.
And it's like, you know, are we going to go the direction of more celebrity news and get away from real news?
It seems to. I mean, their coverage of Prince George's County, in my estimation, is not adequate.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time we had a Bowie story, except, of course, for the shooting. They're always good at that.
Yeah.
Well, they have the one thing they did handle is the test scores at the academy for the trainee police department.
Yeah,
they gave that more space tonight
than usual
on two different issues.
Yeah, that was
which is surprising to me.
It was a big scoop, and you know, kudos to them for that.
It's a bit of a scary scenario as well.
Yeah, and it's, you know, kept us on our toes following it. But
I have friends in the county police department who have been telling me for years some of the recruits that come out of there, you know, should be sweeping leaves. They're just not qualified. And I think that's where we've had a lot of our problems out in the street.
No doubt. And, of course, Montgomery County, you know, having the opposite problem now. It's a little different. But for a while there, they were having a difficult with their people being injured and leaving the job after they got to a certain level. And they lost a lot of experienced people there, but they lost a lot of people that didn't want to police anymore anyway, obviously.
Well, apparently all the retirees this year want to retire.
Yeah.
And there's some generous benefits, generous retirement benefits for the police department.
Well, after your appearance here today, there'll be a huge demand for you to replace Vanessa.
I really doubt that, and I really don't want her job because I've seen what she has to do, like when she takes a vacation. No, thank you. I'm happy with them. They keep giving me more work, but, you know, I'm happy where I'm at.
That's great.
Well, that's great, and we've reached the wrap point. It was enjoyable as heck talking to a fellow journalist.
Well, thank you for having me come on.
Oh, it was a pleasure, and I wish you the best of luck in your endeavors, present and future.
Okay.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again next week. Goodbye.